The world woke up Sunday to the news it had long feared. American bombs had struck Iran. Under the cover of darkness, the targets were not just military bases, but the heart of Iran's nuclear program. The strikes marked a dramatic escalation in the simmering conflict between Israel and Iran, pulling the United States directly into the fray. President Trump declared the operation a spectacular success, claiming Iran's nuclear ambitions were obliterated. But in Tehran, officials insisted their most critical assets, hidden deep underground, were untouched, and that their nuclear work would continue. In the age of satellites, the truth is harder to hide. Initial images show surface destruction, but the real story lies beneath layers of rock and concrete. The world is now watching, waiting for experts to determine what really happened and what survived. This is not just a regional skirmish, but a direct confrontation between powerful adversaries. For years, diplomacy tried to prevent this moment. Tonight it's been drowned out by the roar of jet engines and explosions. The world holds its breath. Is this the end of Iran's nuclear quest or the start of a new, more dangerous chapter? The stakes could not be higher. To understand why American bombs fell, look at the long, troubled road here. The US and its allies have long viewed Iran's nuclear program as a cover for building a bomb, fueling decades of tension and covert action. The collapse of last-ditch talks in Istanbul was the final straw. The Trump administration concluded diplomacy had failed. Believing Iran was on the verge of nuclear capability, the decision was made to strike three critical sites: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. The attack was coordinated with Israel, a show of alliance and a message to the world: no target is beyond America's reach. B-2 bombers and bunker-buster bombs were used to penetrate Iran's most fortified sites. The strike was a raw display of American military might, meant to send a message with overwhelming force. The world took notice. Satellite images reveal two battlefields, one on the surface, one deep underground. Surface damage is clear: administrative buildings, power substations, and support structures at Natanz and Isfahan lie in ruins. But the real prize, Iran's core nuclear facilities, were always buried deep within mountains. At Fordow, enrichment halls sit nearly 300 feet underground, shielded by rock. Bunker-buster bombs targeted these defenses, but early assessments suggest the underground chambers survived. Destroying surface buildings is a setback, but as long as the centrifuge halls remain, Iran's core capability endures. The work can, and likely will, resume. The images of destruction are dramatic, but the reality is more nuanced. Iran's nuclear program is wounded, not killed. The most sensitive infrastructure appears to have survived, hidden from bombs and satellites. The heart of the program still beats. In the wake of the strikes, a war of words erupted. Iran's leaders condemned the attack, vowing their nuclear work would continue and threatening retaliation. The IRGC warned that US bases across the Middle East were now vulnerable. The Atomic Energy Organization declared, "You have attacked us, but you have not stopped us." In Washington, President Trump promised overwhelming force if Iran retaliated, warning that many more targets had been identified. The National Security Team framed the strikes as necessary after all other options failed. Meanwhile, Europe and regional powers called desperately for de-escalation and a return to diplomacy. But for now, their voices are drowned out by the drums of war. The region stands on a knife's edge as the world waits to see if threats will become reality. The next move could ignite a wider conflict. Did the airstrikes stop Iran's nuclear program? The answer is no. The attacks damaged surface infrastructure but failed to destroy the most critical, deeply buried components. What they did accomplish was sending a powerful message. The US is willing to use force to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran, but this strategy carries enormous risks. Experts warn it could drive Iran's program deeper underground, making it harder to monitor and more resilient. The strikes were a warning shot, not a final solution. The conflict has moved from the shadows into open confrontation. The world now waits to see if this warning has prevented a war, or just started one. The game is far from over.